Good evening, family and friends. Welcome to another episode of Bridging the Gap. I'm your host, Ramont Williams. Sorry for coming on late tonight. Went went into work late. Did a short shift today, so I'm back here with you. I'd like to welcome everyone that may tune in tonight. We have another topic. And our topic tonight is identity crisis. Now, before we get started, I always say this in my podcast is that my intent is not to degrade or dehumanize or to say anything demeaning to anyone. I'm basically talking about people that indirectly or directly disrespect men or men disrespecting women, both, either or. I have a friend, I won't mention her name, but she said that I think one of her family members was offended by something that I said. Now, you have to keep in mind that a lot of people don't like the truth. A lot of people have been brainwashed to believe that lies is more pleasant than the truth. However, you choose to swallow it, that's on you. I'm not here to harm anyone. I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings. You know, I'm basically conveying my truth and my experiences as I see them to be. So if you're offended by that, when I'm not specifically talking about anyone, then you have some self-esteem issues, in my opinion, that you have to work on. Okay, so um, I'll make an attempt to apologize if I offended anyone, because that is not my intent. Okay, so, but please keep in mind, I generalize because I'm not speaking to anyone particular. Again, as I've said, and I will continue to say, that I speak about my personal experiences and the things that I see, some of the things that I've researched. And, I don't normally talk about things. It hasn't been a pattern in my life to speak on things that I have very little knowledge of. So, with that being said, again, my content is my content. This is my show, and I have the right to talk about those things that I feel the need to talk about. And I'm sure it's a lot of you out there in your homes that watch this show or have watched some of my shows, like Kevin Samuels. May he continue to rest in peace. Um, you don't really get the chance to know a person. You prejudge and judge a person based on the spigots and rumors you heard other people say. And like I said, when this was brought to my attention earlier this morning, I wasn't really surprised by it, but because this lady I consider a friend, and I haven't known her that long, but I still consider her a friend. Um, it just saddens me that when you're dealing with adults, and I go through a lot of this with my family members. Um, a lot of people advocate that they're grown, but they still haven't grown up because they still think like children. They still talk like children and act like children. So, you can fix your mouth to say anything because you're in control of it. But the reality of it is, if it's not real, someone's going to call you on it sooner or later. And what I do is on my show, unlike a lot of podcast hosts, I don't have a lot of people on my show. Um, every day I'm getting more and more followers. Every morning I wake up, I got 10, 15 new followers, and that's a blessing. So a lot of people are gravitating towards my content and the realities that I speak. Now, again, I want to say this, that when I say anything, if I'm talking about the way women dress, the way women talk, the way women act, you know, physical attributes of a woman, that is merely my opinion. No matter if you're fat, skinny, short, tall, bald headed, long hair, bright skinned, dark skinned, white, black, it doesn't matter. Everybody's not going to like you. And see, I come to that fact years ago in my life. So I'm not on here to be liked by everybody. See, everybody has a motive or a reason why they do what they do. And I know what my reason is to pick up where Kevin left off at, to expose a lot of women. Even though I don't have the popularity yet, it's coming. It's on its way. Whether my family and friends want to support me or not, it's coming, because I have faith in my abilities. So I'm going to continue my plight on this bridging the gap, with or without family and friends support, because I meet people every day. I talk to people every day. I ask people questions every day. And, a lot of the input that I'm getting and the data is how people feel, but they're not encouraged to get on a public platform because they just don't have that willingness. So I will be the voice for those people. Okay. And, I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing because you send me these insulting emails or these DMs, and, because your opinion is just that, just like my opinion is my opinion. I respect yours, respect mine. And it's just as simple as that. So I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say it again in closing. My podcast was not designed to degrade or belittle anybody. I'm just merely speaking facts about things that I see that I don't like when it comes to men and women, in relationships. So, for those of you that think I get on this podcast, if that was the case, I just got on here to bash women, I wouldn't have any recesses between my shows. Every chance I got on my off days, I would be on here bashing women. I select my topics very carefully. And when I select them, I know exactly what I'm going to say. It's nothing rehearsed. Everything that I say comes from my heart. Please understand that. Okay? So let's get this show started, people. We got a good one for you tonight. It's called Identity Crisis. Now, again, me being of the male gender, I speak about things in reference to the women. And I'm also include some men in this topic tonight. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started. We're talking about identity crisis. Now, what I see and what I've witnessed, I've talked to not a lot, but a few very successful men, because I'm not out there like I used to be. So, and I've inquired to some of these men, and I won't use any names. What do you think about women today? First and foremost, I would ask them, are you single or married? I'm single. Okay. So what do you think about this great disparity? Because a lot of people don't even know what disparity means. I'm not going to even take the time. So I'm not one to throw words out to try to impress you with my dialogue. So the words that you hear me say on this show are words that I use every day. Okay. I can talk real ghetto, or I can talk real intellectual. It's my preference, it's my choice. But talking to some of these guys, when they tell me they're single and I ask them about the disparity between black men and women, I said, just give me a little of your personal insight why you think that is. Now, it's funny how I haven't interviewed a lot of men, haven't did a big survey online or on social media because people have a tendency when you're not in their presence is to lie, and they just say anything. So the consensus is that most men, mature men, semi or successful men, whatever you want to call them, but men are turned off, including myself, with women that don't know who they are. It's one thing for you to pretend to be something that you're not. It's another thing when you use not having the knowledge of what you're not to engage with men, real men, and you don't even know how to engage with these men. So I'm saying that to say this. With all the people that I talk to, both men and women, and it's a lot of women that's champion around this. A lot of you women out there, and I'm not speaking about any specific ethnicity, I'm talking about women. No certain age bracket, I'm talking about women. So, like Cinderella, if the slipper fits, then wear it, okay? You don't know who you are because you have no knowledge of self. You have no true knowledge of the world. You haven't tried to acquire any knowledge. And I'm talking about you guys too. Okay, since a lot of you women say I don't say anything about God. So I'm speaking either or. And see, somewhere it's almost like a running back. You just picked up this ball and ran with it. You don't know where it came from. You don't know what it means. And these are people that don't know who they are. These are what I classify as identity crisis. You can't possibly know where you're going if you don't know where you come from. You don't know where you are. And that's just a simple reality. So let's talk about you men for a second, if we will. A lot of you men, when it comes to identity crisis, someone has told you or led you to believe that tapping into your feminine characteristic traits make you more appealing and more attractive to women. Well, I'm gonna put this out here like this. Anyone that's listening to this show, it's my email, Ramon E. West across the bottom. Hit me up. Let's talk about it. Okay. What it does is, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, it makes you look the way women want you to look. And that's weak and silly. Okay. So I have, well, let me say this. And it's kind of funny because it kind of coincide with each other. I have a friend, I'm not going to mention her name. She's married. By no means is she gay. But she told me one day at work, her sole desire is to strap on a dildo and screw a man. And me, when people say things to me like that, I want to know what is their reasoning behind it. So the way she explained it to me, it makes a lot of sense. Well, I respect my husband. I would never try to do anything like that to him. But a lot of these men are not men. They masquerade around here, pretense, no matter if they got muscles, they're big, small, they talk loud, they're not men. And that's my sole desire, is to do that. And I laugh because I found it funny, because now it relates to what I'm talking about now when it comes to men or you males. Anybody, as long as you have the right reproductive system, you can father a child. But it takes great character and finesse for a male to step up and actually be a father to the child that you created. I go through the same dilemma with the newborn child, because and I'm gonna get back to the males with the mother of my child that feel that I should be obligated to take care of her, and that's not it. But you men, in my opinion, when you tap into, or you're influenced to believe, whether it's by social media, it's by society, it's by your girlfriends, your family members, to be more feminine. You call it, they gave it a name that's so deceiving and misleading. It's not funny. Manscaping. What does that actually mean? Because for every word, you can find 1,000 different definitions. So a lot of you have taken this definition, going to get your eyebrows waxed and arched, getting your pubic hair waxed, getting your feet done, your nails done. I don't know too many real men, and I'm not saying that all men do this, possess those quality traits of being gay. I'm not even suggesting that. But what I'm saying is, I don't know too many real men that do things like that. Of course, I groom. I'm not getting my eyebrows arched. None of that. And I'm most definitely not going to sit up in no chair and stick my foot in a bucket and let no Chinese people play with my feet. What am I getting my nails done for? That's for women. My opinion. But what I challenge here today is you men that's easily influenced to be swayed by your female counterparts to do things that are not manly, whatever it may be. So you have to understand, and this goes back to scriptures in the Bible. I know a lot of you say that you believe in God, but the Bible says this, and this entails it all. God is a spirit. Those who worship him must worship him in truth and spirit. It didn't say just worship him in spirit, meaning you can go to church and pray and lie, and knowing you sitting in there thinking about doing some devious thing. As soon as you get out of church, for the 6 days that you're out, you're doing everything that's under the sun that's contrary to God's word. You are the people that have identity crisis, because you don't know who you are, and you're only on a bandwagon just for the ride. So if that bandwagon crashes, you go with it. Our culture, and I'm talking about blacks now, is so, what's the word I'm looking for? so distorted and watered down, it's not even funny. That's because we don't have men stepping up being men. We got all you males running around with your butts hanging out, thinking that this is some new fad and fashion and that it's cool. Men don't dress like that. Most of you guys don't even have nowhere near any bass in your voice. You talk like women, you think like women, you act like women. The only thing that distinguish or differentiate you from a woman is you got a penis. It's that simple. And I know when a lot of you guys see this, you may say, well, man, who is this in to say this and say that? Remember something, man. This doesn't apply to all men. It only applies to you males that's masquerading around here, pretending like men. You won't take care of your home. You won't work. And those of you that do work, you won't go and get no trade and no education to get better jobs. You got these minute jobs. And this saddens me more than anything. When I see you black men, particularly out in my industry, with the monkey suits on, them security suits, sitting by these doors, when you got all your white counterparts and their kids making $40-something an hour. And you wonder why you can't get ahead in life. Because you don't know who you are. No one has ever taught you how to be a man. It took me almost the majority of my life to develop to that maturity level where I'm at today. But it's one thing I knew on this journey of life, that I was going to always be a man. I was always going to be real, no matter who liked me, no matter what people said about me. I was going to always be a man, true to my heart. I'm not jumping on nobody's bandwagon. I knew who I was way back, just like I do today. You have to look within to find who you are. Establish your identity so you're not caught up in this whirlwind of confusion. You got children out here dying every day. I was just on the phone tonight with a friend of mine who was telling me that people that I knew got into a shootout and died. It's sad. Because when I didn't know who I was, I played those same games. Only by the grace of God, he placed a shield around me, a hedge of protection and love by his mercy and grace, and kept me safe. I didn't know who I was. I thought I did. I looked in the mirror every day. I thought I was seeing Vermont, but I didn't have a clue. Didn't know who I was or where I was going. And it's one thing I can tell you through experience. If you don't establish your identity and know who you are and what your purpose in life is, somebody else will. And it's normally that crooked judicial system that's made up of majority of who? Caucasian people. And I'm not going to jump on a racial bandwagon because I'm not racist. I'm not prejudiced. My mother was half white. But I don't care if you're purple, green, pink, yellow, or white. If you're not right, you're not right. It's just that simple. So it's very imperative that you understand who you are and what your purpose in life is. If you don't understand and you're looking for Tom, Dick, and Harry to tell you who you are, you're in an identity crisis. It's just that simple. You guys, and I'm talking about you older brothers too, you're out here misleading these women, exploiting them, playing on their emotions, their hearts, and you wonder why they're bitter. You wonder why they've been traumatized and why some women can't rebound from that. Because it's their nature. They're emotional creatures. That's the way God made them. Woman, by the Latin terminology or definition, means part of. That's what the woe stands for. Part of man. So if you don't understand what's going on, quit pretending. Ask, research, study. Knowledge is power. But a lot of you will never obtain or acquire that power because you're lazy. You're complacent. You men have to start being men. Love your woman or these women. Guide them. Instruct them. Protect them. Provide for them. That's what we were put here for. That's what we were designed for. Not to have our pants hanging off our butts, smoking weed every 30, 40 minutes. And please don't get me on this marijuana. You guys are so sick and sad when it comes to it. I don't care what you say, God created. No, God did not create that type of marijuana that you're smoking. The marijuana that you're smoking did not grow naturally. It was cultivated. If you don't know what cultivate means, look it up. It has more chemicals than meth does. That's the reason you're so addicted to it. But because you don't know who you are and you feel you need some type of vice or crutch to get you through on a day-to-day basis, that's the reason you people can't get it right. That's the reason you can't identify who you are and what your purpose in life is. So when these women say you're bums, you're degenerates, and you're not about anything, because again, the only thing that distinguishes you from a woman is your penis. So you guys, you got to get it together, man. You really got to get it together. Quit making these babies. Quit playing with these women's emotions. Our purpose is to acquire a wife. And if God blesses to create life and guide and support that life, that's our mission in life. Not to have multiple baby mamas, kids running all over, kids involved in gangs, drugs, prostitution. And they normally get in these things because, for one, you either encourage it or you're not there to guide them. And I'm talking about you males, you pretense men. Understand who you are. Understand your purpose in life. And we can move together and move forward as a unified body. Because there's never been any people known to man since man has been existing on this earth that move like black men. None. Not Alexander the Great, not Hitler, not J. F. Kennedy. Nobody. Caesar, Aristotle, Socrates, and the list goes on and on. We're the creators of life, and we have failed tremendously. We failed God, we failed our families, we failed ourselves. Why? Because we don't understand who we are. That identity thing, we don't have a clue. And I thank God that I know who I am. I know what my purpose in life is, and I live it every day. Let's get it together, fellas. Now, you women, here's the problem I have with you women. Okay. And I don't know who's online. Whoever you are, can you at least make a comment so I know? I think it's you, Jackie. I'm not sure, but if it's you or my cousin Stacy, please make a comment in the comment box, please. Um, what I have a problem with when we come to identity crisis is God created women to be soft, subtle, peaceful, mindful, loving, nurturing, caring, mindful. And I can go on and on and on. I never recall anywhere in the Bible, never seen in my life where women were designed to be men. I'm so tired of seeing you women run around with tank tops on, baseball caps turned backwards, your pants sagging off your ass, with another woman on your arm. I don't have a problem with your sexual preference. What I have a problem with is you pretending to be something that you're not. So again, this is how women fall under this identity crisis. That's just one spectrum or specter. And let's talk about you divas, you bosses, and all these other hood terminologies that you use to define who you are when actually you're just the opposite of what you claim to be. What makes you a boss? What makes you a diva? Is it just a title? Does it give you purpose in life? Does it validate who you really are? Or what you feel in your heart when you're not around your champion friends that's coaching you and edging you on? Me. The one thing that I despise in women, any woman, I don't care what race she is, how old she is, excuse me. I'm kind of tired tonight, but I wanted to get this segment on is when you women don't know who you are, you act like men, you talk like men, you'll never be able to think like a man. I don't care how much you act. But these masculine traits and characteristic traits that you have, when you try to emulate men, I personally have a problem with that because I don't want to be in competition with no woman that I claim that I care about. And if I'm in a relationship, why do I want to be in a relationship with a woman that challenged me? For every castle, there's a king and a queen. Who sits on the highest throne? The king. In the game of chess, who must protect who? Is it the king protecting the queen or the queen protecting the king? The knights, the bishops, the pawns. And I'm not saying that to say that men sit on no pedestal. That's not what I'm even suggesting. I'm just saying we all have our roles to play. But when you women come off with this masculine energy, it tickles me. And I'm gonna give you an example today. I was just telling a friend of mine, I was at work, and one of my co-workers, she was on a machine that she was operating, and I had just dismounted a television from one of the booths that I was working on. So put it in the casing. It was sitting in the aisle. Lady come through. She started honking her horn on her machine. Now, had she stayed in her feminine role, which it is my nature to cater to women, to be courtesy to women, all women. I don't care what they look like, who they are. That's just who I am. That's the way I was designed. Haven't always been this way. It took me a while to get to this maturity. But because she came off with this masculine energy and she said some derogatory things to me, I instantly took defense and I instantly attacked verbally. I don't mean physically, because I don't believe in hitting women. And I slaughtered this woman verbally. I made her look smaller than I am. And because she's so used to being disrespectful to men in our industry and getting away with it, that this was the time she ran and rattled the wrong cage. And this is an example I want to show you people on here, that when you women approach men with this masculine energy and men stand up and they refute the energy that you're presenting, 9 times out of 10, you bow down, but you always bow out looking for empathy or sympathy for someone to come and save you or support you. Women are not designed to physically beat men in anything. You can't jump higher than us. You can't run faster than us. You're not stronger than us. You can't lift more weights. You can't do any of those things better than us. We're physically, inherently designed to be the stronger species. Masculinity is our role. Femininity is your role. So you must understand what your identity is. I love when I'm at work and I can say something kind to women that they probably don't even hear at home from their husbands or significant others or boyfriends, fiancés, to see that a kind word, and I don't mean being disrespectful or flirting, because it's innocent flirting. It's just words of encouragement. To see a woman's face light up. But me being a man, knowing who I am, I would not accept that from anyone, family, friend, co-workers. If you rattle my cage with any form of disrespect, with that masculine energy, you will face a force that you never thought existed. That's with me. I can't speak on any other man. And I was just telling my friend tonight that I was kind of saddened by the incident that occurred today because that's not me. Usually when I get out of my character to portray something that's not me, it's because you pushed me there. I like to smile. I like to laugh. I like to have fun. Yeah, I grew up for years and people knew me as being a real serious type. And I still have structure in my life. Where, as the Bible say, there's a season for everything. There's a time to laugh, it's a time to cry, it's a time to play, it's a time to rest. I understand all this, so I live accordingly. But I rather use more energy laughing and smiling than to sit around like old sourpuss all the time, mad at the world, chip on your shoulder. And that's what I see with a lot of you women. You don't even understand your purpose in life. You run around and you try to emulate men. A lot of you challenge men. A lot of you will fight men. But see, that is not our soul and our real purpose in life, ladies. God put you here as a helpmate to keep us balanced, to keep us on our P's and Q's, not to challenge us, not to degrade us, not to fight us, not to harm us, but to love us so we can cherish you. You say you want to be treated like a queen, but show me in any movie or anywhere, unless a queen had to go to battle, which was common or custom in that time and era. Did you see a queen out hanging with the common women? It didn't happen. And if you women would just establish your own identities and understand your purpose and who you are, then a lot of this nonsense will just go away. Because this is not something that you created. It's something that was given to you or you were influenced by, not understanding what the long-term purpose of it was. See, God said in his word, everything that he created, he will come back to claim. God didn't create none of this stuff. It has no legitimate purpose here in this world. Just understand this. And I'm going to say this in closing. Both men and women, if we truly understood who we are, we wouldn't be so easily influenced by a lot of the rhetoric that goes on in the world. I haven't looked at the news in almost 30 years. The news only talk about rich people, politicians. Only time they talk about common people is when somebody gets shot or killed. How many parades have they created for common people? How many statues you see in front of auditoriums or stadiums of common people. I don't need to watch the news to know what's going on in the world. I don't need to watch the news to know the people around me are not right. All I have to do is pray to God that He open my eyes in the morning, get up, get dressed, and get in my car and head anywhere. And I can see the world for what it is. And it don't have to be seen through the media's eyes. That's just a form of brainwashing. It keeps you from establishing your true identity. And you wouldn't know that unless you go through some things and understand life. And I don't mean understanding life meaning, oh, I got to go and get me a Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Versace, or Michael Kors, any of those other name brand designer that's out there. That's not my focus in life. I'm not going to wear $1,000 belt, $800 jeans, $4,000 or $5,000 Travis Scotts, and I don't have no food in my refrigerator. My family is hungry, but I'm running out here smelling good, looking good, manscaped up, car sparkling, rim shining. That's what I mean by establishing your identity. You people have to get off this selfish, self-centered, entitled pedestals. It doesn't make any sense. I grew up poor most of my life, and I'm not rich now. But I can honestly say I have money saved up. I have a roof over my head. It may not be the Taj Mahal. I got reliable vehicles in my driveway. My house is fully furnished. I got food in the cabinets, freezer, deep freezer. God has truly blessed me. You know why? Because I know who I am. And that's what I'm proposing to you today. Learn who you are. Quit being so easily influenced by the things that go on around you. You women, you queens, you can have all the respect, the cherishment, the love, the admiration that the world could offer if you just play your roles. Men are flocking to you for sex. They're not flocking to you for companionship. They don't want to put a ring on your finger. They don't want to introduce you to their moms or their dads or their grandparents. You're just a moment of pleasure. But because you don't know who you are, you don't understand that. But if you embrace that role of femininity, I heard a sister say this, and then I'm going to close. She said, I don't have to fight and argue with my man. The way that I manipulate and influence my man is playing my role. I make sure our house, not his house, our house is clean, everything is taken care of. When he wants sex, I don't got a headache. And she just went on and on and on. And she said, I don't even have to ask. Because when I play my role, his role is automatic. flowers all the time, trips all the time, love all the time, encouragement all the time. You see how that play out? How it balances? She's in her role, her natural role of femininity. He's in his role of masculinity. It's like negative and positive energy that comes together for a common purpose. You can't have positive and have positive over here, or the pretense of positive, and think you're going to combine something together and make something work. It don't work like that. That's against the laws of nature. So with that, I got to get to bed. I thank you. I don't know who's on because you haven't commented, but thank you for listening to me rant tonight. I'll be on tomorrow at 7 o'clock. It won't be as late because I'll get off earlier. So again, please be safe out there. Keep your minds open. Always seek the truth. Establish your identity, not the identity that other people want you to have. Love one another, support one another, and pray to God for guidance, because we all need it. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, there's my email, RamonEWesley@gmail.com. Hit me up. Tell me who you are. Remember, if you become a guest on the show, you have to be online. You cannot be in the dark. You cannot be silhouette or none of that. If you have something to say, let's let the world see you. Because I'm not a voice for every man and woman. Let's build this show up. Let's bridge this gap. Let's create this dialogue. And let's get some people back on the right path. We can't save the world, but we can help a few. We can do that. We can, not me, we, as a team. So with that being said, God bless you. I bid you a good night. I love you. Thank you for the support. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.